Hey students, welcome back. This is Torres, Elbow Bump. How are you? Are you doing okay? Is your family okay? Remember, if you need anything, send me an email so that I can try to help in some way. So lucky you get to hear my voice for another lecture. But the best part is that we will be learning about stats. Yay! It's my favorite subject and I hope you'll like it too. I know under the circumstances, it's going to be difficult to get used to this new model, but I promise to continue to do my best to provide high quality content to you as best as I can and try to model it as closely as I can to activities and information that you would receive on a regular class. And I promise to try to help you in any way that I can. So I want you to know that today's class is going to be kind of short. I want to just try some stuff out with you guys and give you some information. And first thing I want to do is start off by talking about the syllabus and how you'll get additional information. So first of all, let's catch up. How are you? On Blackboard, I have created a discussion board that you can go in and just have a place to talk about what's happening in the world and how it's affecting you. That discussion board is anonymous. So anything you post on there, nobody will be able to track back to you, not even me. We can speak freely and frankly on the board as much as you want. Don't feel like you have to add anything to the board. It's not going to be part of your grade, but I did want you to at least have some place where you could go in and just, document how you're feeling. Like I told you in my email, in my first email, my email that I sent last week to letting you know what's happening is really you are living through history right now. Even in my life, I have never gone through anything like this before. And I feel confident that you'll be able to tell your grandchildren about what happened and how you lived through this in New York City and all the things that happened and how people tried to take care of each other. And I hope at the end of it, you'll be able to tell your loved ones how you got through college by the support of your friends and the support of your school. So, a great thing to do is, like I said, you can leave stuff on the discussion board so you can communicate with me or with one another. Again, it's completely anonymous. And if you don't feel like sharing with everybody, now's a good time to just start keeping a journal. Start keeping about how you feel and the things that happened. Because one day when you look back on this, it'll be very meaningful. Real quick, I want to talk about, do you know how to stay safe? So what the World Health Organization, WHO, has been telling us is there's 5 things that we can do to try to keep ourselves as safe as possible from the coronavirus. The first thing is washing your hands and wash them often. If you go online, and I'll try to link something down below, doctors have been giving classes basically on how to wash your hands. And there's different things you need to do in order to make sure you wash your hands. When doctors operate, they have to really be careful to make sure that they're germ-free. And like watching some of these videos can be really, really helpful. It shows you how to, scrub certain part of your hands, make sure that you're not missing your thumbs, how the palms need to be washed and things like that. So I'm going to link that down below, and I think it's really interesting. Sometimes, you're like, how am I going to, 20 seconds doesn't seem like a long time, except when you start trying to count it. So looking at different ways that you can, get that done and make sure that you're keeping yourself as clean as possible is useful. The other thing that they're telling us to do is to cough into your elbow or cough into something like a tissue or something like that. So if you do have to cough or sneeze, cough into your elbow. You've been seeing people do that for a while. If you have a tissue and can cough into the tissue or sneeze into the tissue, even better. But make sure that you throw the tissue away in a lined trash can and then dispose of the trash as quickly as you can so you don't have any bacteria or viruses in the trash can much any longer than you have to. As hard as it is to do, try not to touch your face. We touch our face all day long. We have sniffles, we have an itch, putting on makeup, things like that. So try not to touch your face as much as you can. And just notice that, when you're doing it. So staying away, keeping what they call social distancing. Social distancing is something else you can do to try to stay safe. They say that you should stay at least 3 feet apart from one another, but what's kind of been going around too is 6 feet apart from one another. In New York, that can be hard to do because we don't have a lot of real estate in our apartments. So do your best. If you do live with other people, you can do things like make sure that you're keeping your sheets and towels as clean as possible. That you don't use like the same towel to dry your hands. Things like that is really important. Just kind of designating everybody their own silverware, their own plates, their own towels, sheets, and things like that, and not reusing them by accident is really important. Finally, if you feel sick, stay home. This has got to be, kind of hard to do because I know that if you're not feeling well and you live with other people, you're taking a risk of getting them sick as well. If you don't feel well, cover your face, cover it like in a mask. If you don't have a mask available to you, you can just use like a scarf. If you are going, try to stay inside because anytime you go outside, you could contaminate a counter or a guardrail or even just like a rail to go, a stair rail, the subway. That's probably just crawling with all kinds of things. So being able to stay in is great. If you do feel ill, what you should do is you should contact your doctor, your regular doctor, before you go in. They will give you instructions about where you can go to be seen. If you go directly to the emergency room, you may get turned back. They have to know what your symptoms are before you show up so they can treat you appropriately. If you have any questions about that, you can also contact the Department of Health here in New York City. Just Google it and they'll be able to help you. Okay. Lastly, I want to make sure if you've been able to get information for your classes. I've sent out a couple I've just uploaded a couple things on Blackboard, which we will go through in a second, and make sure that you're able to see what where to find information, how to keep track of it. Blackboard does have a really great app that will give you notifications when things are posted. So that's always a good thing to look at. This semester, my big idea for this semester is just getting us through it. That's why the few things that I changed on the syllabus is going to allow you some flexibility. So we're going to take a look at the revised syllabus, but really, as you're looking through it, the things I want you to notice are date changes, okay? My online office hours, the online videos, they're going to be hosted on Blackboard and on YouTube, so you'll be able to get them from either one. Class online quizzes, which will be hosted on Blackboard, and online exams, which will be open book and open note. So for this course, you're going to need very much the same type of materials you would have had during our regular stats class. These are the materials you'll need. First, most important is internet access, and obviously like a computer. If you do not have internet access or you are having trouble accessing technology, please email me immediately. You will need these resources in order to participate in the class. Without them, you're already behind. So I want to make sure that you have access to this. Gutman Community College will be providing students with laptops if they need them. And also there are many service providers like Spectrum and Verizon that are offering free Wi-Fi to help during the crisis. If once you get in online, we're going to be using ePortfolio and Digication like we normally would on class. So the same stuff we've been using in class is the same stuff that we'll be accessing online. In addition to that, we'll be using Blackboard. We all went on Blackboard the other day. You made sure that your email on Blackboard was something that you checked regularly. If you still have any questions on how to change your email, I can make a little video and put it online for you. It's super easy to do, but your Blackboard is going to have the email that was first associated with the email that you used at Gutman the very first time you had access to Gutman. So probably when you applied to go to school at Gutman, and whatever email you were using at that time is the email that will be on Blackboard. So please make sure that you're aware of what the email is and change it if needed. Perusal.com is a new piece of technology that you'll be using. I'm going to go into more detail on how to use Perusal.com in the next slide. My Open Math will continue to be the way that we access, that you will access your homeworks. I need to change the homework dates to align with the new, I think I need to change the homework dates to align with the new syllabus, but I'll have to check. The homework, I'm going to be very flexible with the homework, in that it'll be due on the day of the exam by midnight, but you can continue to work on the homework up until the last day of the semester. Finally, YouTube. If you can access YouTube, you'll also be able to access the videos on YouTube as well. Sorry. I would strongly suggest that as you're watching the lecture videos, you continue to take notes and pause and rewind as you need to. Okay. Also, another good thing to do is even take note of the timestamps as you're watching the videos, because if you have a question about something I said, if you can tell me, hey, Professor Torres, like on this video at 12 minutes and 34 seconds, you say this, but in another video you said that, it lets me find exactly where the discrepancy could be or clarify any misconceptions that, I may have caused. I'm bound to make a mistake, and it's going to get recorded because we're doing everything recorded. So you being able to help me find my mistakes and help me clarify your questions is going to be really important too. You'll need access to Microsoft Excel and or Google Sheets. I will be providing information to you through Excel, but a lot of times it's just easier to save stuff on Google Sheets. As Gutman students, you do actually receive a free Microsoft Office suite. If you have any questions on how to download the free versions, you can contact me or contact the help desk. And finally, you'll need access to a calculator. I strongly recommend that you don't use your phone calculator unless you have like an app or anything that gives you a fancier version of your calculator. I strongly recommend that you use either Desmos or Google Calculator, since it will keep track of any calculations you've made thus far. So one of the new pieces of technology that we'll be using is called Perusal.com. And you can actually it's just as easy as just typing that into a website, your website. It's a free online tool that allows you to annotate text and discuss the text with me and your classmates. So right now you should have gone on already. If you haven't done so, make sure you go on right now, stop the video, and follow these instructions to get your Perusal.com information or instructions, and start practicing with the practice piece of paper or the practice document. So first you're going to go to Perusal.com, and you can create an account by clicking register. It's at the bottom. Next, you're going to just fill out the required fields: emails, password, name. If you want to use your Gutman email, that's fine. If you want to use another one, I think you can sign up using your Google credentials, etc. It might make it easier for you, but just make sure that you're aware of what email that you've used. Jot it down in your notebook since you're taking notes already. Of course, you have to agree to the terms and conditions, so read them and then click OK. Next, you're going to click on a button that says Create or Enroll in a Course, and then you're going to click that you're a student. Okay. Finally, where it says Type in Course Code, you're going to type in Torres-Rivera-65 D like David 9K like Kilo. Okay, so Torres-Rivera-65 D like David 9K like kilo, and you will be into our group section. So I want to really quickly go on perusal.com so you can kind of see how I'm annotating things, and you can just go in and practice. So let me get that up right now. Okay, so here's the perusal.com page. As you go in, you're going to see I already made myself a student account, and so here's my student account, and I sign in. And you'll see, since I already enrolled for my course, you'll see that it will say Math 103B Spring 1 2020, and I'm going to click on that course. And then over here where it says Documents, you'll see Data Analytics Supervisor. Now this is the same document that we looked at the other day. So your assignment for this is going over it again and seeing if you can find the things that were wrong with it. So go open up Excel just like before, start looking at the information that the supervisors provided, and start working on it. So I'm just gonna say, for example, that I'm going to check on what can I check? Let's see. I want to see if the person that wrote this did this correctly. So it says numerical findings show the mean x bar equals 84.2 is approximately the same as the median m equals 93. So I'm going to look over at my stuff, and she's right here. She's got mean equals 84.3. So that might be a mistake, and I can just go over here and find it, highlight it, and then it'll pop up a little thing on the side, and I can say, I think this is a small mistake because the table in the back has x bar equals 84.3. Okay, and then I think I just hit enter. Yeah, just hit enter and it goes ahead and keeps it there. Okay, so your first assignment is just to go through and start marking this up, start talking about it, and just kind of get you, kind of in the groove again of reading this through. As a reminder, the information for the data analytics supervisor is on ePortfolio, and you can access it there. So just as a reminder, here is my ePortfolio. And for our course, you just go to Spring 20 Stats B. And you can go over here where it says Data Analytics Supervisor. Here are the fictional midterm grades, and this is an Excel file that you can download and evaluate the information using my Betacam analysis, which is here. Okay. And here is the information for hospital stay. You can download this on Excel, and you'll find you can also input the information into my Betacam analysis, which you can get here. Okay, don't forget that in order to work with this data, you have to hit the button that says what does it say? Let's see. Let's look at Betacam analysis and see what it says. Okay, so what have I done here? I have downloaded 2 Excel spreadsheets. Now I want you to notice one thing that a lot of students tend to forget. I do too. It's totally okay. If you notice right here, you will see a yellow bar, right? And it says enable editing. Before you can work with these spreadsheets that you've downloaded, you have to click enable editing. So I'm going to click enable editing on Betacam analysis. So click on that. Okay. And it's going to take a second. My computer's super slow. I apologize. And it's going to just, make me able to use it. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the data analysis supervisor or data analytics supervisor fictional course midterm scores. I'm going to also enable editing on that. Okay, so this is the fictional course midterm scores. This has to do with the first report that you're going to be looking at in perusal. So to figure out what's happening with these midterm scores, I'm going to go ahead and just copy this information. So column E, notice that I copied using the E, like I clicked the entire column. And then I'm going to go over to the beta cam analysis, and I'm going to go over to this yellow tab that says data input right over here. Okay, if I click on data input, come on little guy. All right, and I paste this up here, paste. It will put all the information in there for me. Okay, so I've got all the information of these scores, and then I can go over to the histograms tab and take a look to see what this is doing. Okay, so right now, if I were to look at this, and I'm going to go ahead and make this bigger. Okay, right now, if I were to look at this, I have a count of 32. I'm going to make this just a little bit bigger so we can kind of see this a little bit better. Screw this up, move this over. Okay, so we're going to look at this row right here. It's going to give us a lot of information. First, I have a count of 32, which is what the processor, the data processor had put in the report. That's cool. Then it says mean equals 84.28. If we round that, that should be 84.3, so that's a little off. She did have the median as 93. I think that's okay. Skewness is negative 2.23. You're going to have to decide if that is an appropriate skewness. Just as a reminder, it's not. It should be between -1 and +1 for it to be considered normal. You're going to then look at the kurtosis and decide if that's within the normal range. Again, it's not. And that should be between -3 and +3. So at this point, there's there's really no indication that this is a normal distribution. This seems to be negatively skewed and really, really leptokurtotic or kind of pointy. So let's look to see, let's compare the mean and the median. The mean is to the left of the median, right? Which means that it's going to be causing a left skew, or another way to say it is negative skew. This is negative. So this seems to, so far numerically, by checking the data, it seems to be making sense. Like this thing is negatively skewed. If we look at the histogram, we see that this red is where the normal distribution should be approximately. And this guy looks like this. So it's not looking very, promising at this point. Looking at the box whisker plot, we see that the median, which is this middle line right here, is not in the center of the box or the interquartile range. The center would be more about here, and that the right whisker is much shorter than the left whisker, right? Here's the negative, here's the positive, meaning that this is also giving us an indication that there is a negative skew and the data is skewed. It's not appropriate for statistical use. So remember, when you're using data cam analysis, you need to stick to the data input tab because it's yellow, and the code book is there in case you need to make notes or anything like that. The histogram, you want to make sure that you select the variable. Here is, like one variable, you can use a drop down. If you end up working with two variables, you can also use this drop down. So that way, if you're ever working with two different variables, you don't have to keep clicking back and forth. You can put two on the screen at one time. Okay, so what I want you to do now is try to go into perusal, read the document. You've already done it once. Perhaps you have some notes. Look through your stuff and see if some of the information is still there. Go into beta cam analysis and download this data. See if you can still run it and check it for normality. Look at your notes. Make sure that everything's starting to look okay. Okay, so for your first assignment, you're going to do that. Okay, so we are done with our very first class. I just have some final next steps. First, be prepared. Be prepared with all your technology for the next class. It won't be like this where it's short and we're just going to be going over the syllabus. We need to start working on the material that's on this class, and I need to start making sure that I can access all the pieces to be able to provide good quality statistics content to you. Second, make sure that you check throughout the weekends for uploaded classes. My goal is to have all 3 classes uploaded on the weekends so that they'll be waiting for you Monday and you can look at them over whatever period of time that you need. At the end of each class, there will be a 5-point quiz on Blackboard for participation and attendance. You need to complete these by Friday, by the end of the week. So any quizzes that you do not complete during that week will just count as an absence and for non-participation points. I know that we're all working from different places and it might be difficult to access technology or, things can happen. But during a week's time, you should be able to have enough time to watch the videos and answer the 3 quizzes that you'll have that correspond with our meeting dates. And there's only 5 questions per quiz. So you should be able to do that. Remember, work with your friends, talk to one another, see what you can do in order to, keep up with this stuff. And make sure that you complete it by each Friday at 11:59 p.m. Again, I can't emphasize this enough. Make sure you're checking your emails and you're checking Blackboard. All your professors are going to be trying to get a hold of you. And checking your emails, your Starfish emails, your Blackboard emails, and your CUNY First emails even is the best way to keep track of what's happening. So that is it for today. Today's big idea is be prepared. Be prepared for school and be prepared to keep yourself as safe as possible. With that said, don't forget to check your emails, check Blackboard, do your homework, and subscribe to this channel. Even better, hit the notification bell so you know when there's new videos for this course. Okay, so this is your teacher, Torres, saying stay safe, and I will be waiting to give you a virtual elbow bump in the next video. Ciao!